Jim, our next one is actually not a question, it's a story, but I want to see if this story triggers anything from you. This was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Alex, and I may pronounce this wrong. I believe it's Gusavage, but I may be wrong there. For years, my dad told the story of a Serbian manager who snapped at the crowd in Serbian. I asked if he knew who Bronko Lubich was after all the references on the podcast, and my dad, being 100% Serbian, said, of course, and that I knew the story. He thinks it was the Milwaukee Arena, but it looks like it happened at the Southside Armory sometime in the mid to late 50s. Lubich was managing Angelo Poffo, and the Serbs in the crowd were getting out of hand. They were apparently getting so out of hand that Lubich broke kayfabe and yelled in Serbian to the crowd, "What the hell is wrong with you people? Don't you know this is fake?" My grandfather and the other Serbs in the crowd were so taken aback they swore off wrestling after the Lubich explosion. My dad, with better judgment, did not, at least until the Attitude Era. The story fades as the generation does, but I've heard it for over 40 years, and I haven't seen it anywhere before. I hope you enjoy it. So, Jim, this story about Bronko Lubich apparently in Serbian yelling at the Serbian fans, breaking kayfabe. What do you think of this story and any other stories of a guy just losing it with the fans and trying to plead with them to relax?
Well, I can believe it because knowing Bronko Lubich, he was such a nice man. And when he first said, the guy asking questions said Serbian, I'm trying to get them from Serbia, obviously, but I'm trying to think who was Serbian. And then when you mentioned Bronko, yes, I guess Serbia is somewhere in a language of relation to like Ukrainian and Russian and Polish, and in that part of the world, they kind of sound alike, right? Maybe now I've made myself sound ignorant to a linguistics expert out there.
I don't know if I'd say they sound alike, but it's...
Well, but I mean, the accent, I guess is what I'm saying. The people that have that accent.
I've dated several Serbian women, so I'm not going to even...
You have? I don't even know if besides Bronko, if I've ever met anybody that was Serbian. So I don't know.
Go to Astoria. You'll meet plenty of them.
Well, so when they scream your name out at the top of their lungs, what does the accent sound like?
I'm not going to respond to that. I will say they have a wonderful dish called burek, which is like it's like a meat pie. But anyway, go ahead.
A burro?
A burek, I think, or a burak, or something like that.
The burro has meat to it also. Nevertheless, Bronko Lubich, I can believe him do it because those old Chicago crowds in those days, I'm sure, were quite rowdy. And I could see him do it because he had a great sense of humor, and he had that twinkle in his eye, even though when we knew him in Dallas, he was, older and couldn't get up and down as a referee anymore. So on the spot shows, he would count like the horse counts with his foot, 1, 2, 3 or whatever. But Bronko did manage Angelo Poffo and in those days, and Chris Markoff later on when they were the tag team combination, right? But I guess, those kind of things, those stories, they never exist on tape. You ask if there was any other instances of that. They never exist on tape because in the old days you had riots not at TV tapings, but in the house shows where there were no cameras. And that's why that Ox Baker, Ernie Ladd, riot that got caught, they had the film camera in the arena and happened to do it because they were shooting an angle. But I'm sure at one point or another, there's been a lot of guys going, what the fuck's the matter with you people? Or scared in that position or whatever, or bailing out with people chasing you and swinging sticks and bats and trying to run you over or whatever the fuck. But we don't have, except for firsthand accounts like that, we don't have, the documentation. But I don't know if the kerfluffles that me and the Midnight Express or any of my guys have been in where we were actively talking to the people like, what the fuck's the matter with you? You did, because at that point, they've kind of lost it. It's too late. They're not really going to listen to you anyway. We were more like cussing and swinging and trying to get out of there. But Bronko was and Bronko was more important to the Dallas wrestling office than a lot of people realize. He wasn't just a referee. He was like a mentor and kind of, I don't know, a father figure because of the ages, but he was a very, very close to Fritz, and he was a father figure for the boys at least, and was very good with his money, had saved his money, invested in real estate, always reading the fucking stock pages of the newspaper, was very well off, and did that because he loved the business. He still refereed at that age.